You still didn't tell me what's the problem.
The problem here.
I don't see the problem.
Okay, well, first of all, one problem is that Uthman burnt Quran material that would have included the different ways of recitating, because he only kept it in one kind, which is the Qurayshi dialect. Whereas Muhammad revealed it in different.
Right?
Well, no, you have no. You don't talk about the Qur'an. The Qur'an is different, and you don't have 7. You have 10.
Yeah. We have the 7. Yes. Qira'at. Yes.
Yeah. You have 10 of them. So where these 3 come from?
No, we have the 7 that the Prophet talked about.
No. You have the 10. Let me show you.
Okay. What is it that Uthman burnt? You're saying?
Which is translation of the 10 Qur'an of the Quran.
The conclusion of this discussion is that the claim that the Quran as it exists today is identical to what was recited by Prophet Muhammad is a claim whose accuracy is questionable. Various evidence from historical and critical sources indicates that the process of compiling and standardizing the Quran involved changes, variations, and even disagreements among the Prophet's companions. This video is primarily intended for the Muslim community, which often criticizes the Bible, including the Torah and the Gospels, accusing them of being non-original, heavily altered, corrupt, and so forth. It is worth noting that 3 religious groups, Jews, Christians, and Samaritans, have preserved the Torah and continue to hold it in high regard. Thousands of manuscripts of these scriptures have been meticulously preserved to this day. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we dive deep into important topics and explore them from a unique perspective. Did you know that the Quran also underwent a process of compilation and standardization during the time of Uthman? This included the controversial act of burning alternate manuscripts to unify the Islamic community under one standard text. But what was the real reason behind this decision? Was it purely for unity, or is there more to the story? Let us take a moment to watch the following Christian-Islam dialogue video.
Because when Muhammad was there and recited the Quran, anybody would just come with his pen and whatever he write on and write. So some will make mistakes, leave a word, add a word. So Uthman told them to bring everything they have, look at them, tell this one you got this one wrong, you got that one wrong.
Can I ask you? Go. One quick thing. So Muhammad had the recitation, from Allah, from Jibril, and he had it in 7 different ways, the Ahruf.
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, I'm not talking about that.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm talking about genuine mistakes that people do.
Okay, that's fine. But there were 7 ways that were all Quran, yes?
Yes.
Right, so why did Uthman destroy them all? And then put it into the Quraysh dialect alone?
Okay.
Good question.
Okay, but you know, Chris, that doesn't stop the fact that these other recitations still exist because the Quran is an oral
that's fine.
tradition anyway.
Wait, I understand that.
They can write it if they want.
That's fine. But what I'm saying is, if it was revealed to Muhammad, that Ahruf, the different ways of recitation, why did Uthman burn them? And only leave 1 in the Qurayshi dialect? Yeah.
No, explain to him later because I'm having conversation. No, we're talking.
All right.
It's not fair.
Maybe a bit.
No, it's not fair you bring him in.
Okay.
Because I wanted to
help you.
I wanted to respond what you're saying.
All right then. Okay, go on.
He might be able to help you.
Let him respond.
Sorry,
okay, you continue.
Hold on.
Yeah, well, listen.
Sorry,
You interrupted. There was no.
Wait a couple of seconds and then let him respond. Separating yourself.
What was the question?
Okay, so the Quran was recited and revealed to Muhammad in 7 different ways.
Yes.
The Ahruf, yes? But then Uthman in 652, 20 years after Muhammad died, he ordered that all of the Quranic materials be destroyed apart from that which conformed to the Qurayshi dialect.
Yes.
So what happened to all the Ahruf?
Okay, why would you think? Tell me why would you think he did that? Then I can respond.
Okay, so your own sources in Sahih al-Bukhari, for example, record that's what he did.
Yes.
He only kept 1, which was the Qurayshi dialect, and that was to make sure that any arguing about what the Quran was would
I don't
end.
see any problem. Sorry, I don't see any problem.
Okay, so my problem, what I see, is that Muhammad had revelation revealed in 7 different ways.
Yes.
Uthman destroyed 6 of them.
Yes.
Is that a problem? Like, you would see my problem to me.
You know why? Because like I said, this other recitation would still exist and be written down. But what Uthman did is because it was a critical moment at that time for the Quran amongst the Muslims. So he stopped the arguments. This is Quran. This is not Quran.
Right, but he destroyed Quran, though, didn't he?
The claim that the Quran we have today is exactly the same as what was recited by Muhammad is a false statement. This claim was deliberately fabricated by Muslim scholars while disregarding ancient reports and the historical development of the Quran itself. However, there are also critical sources that are willing to acknowledge the falsehood of this claim. These scholars failed to recognize the true miracle of the Quran and thus fabricated lies about the Prophet, even attributing to him miracles that he never performed. One of the most widespread pieces of misinformation propagated by these scholars is the claim that all Qurans in the world are identical and free from variation. This is untrue and has no connection to God's promise in verse 15:9. While Christian missionaries often critique the Quran for such variations, this criticism merely highlights their ignorance regarding the Quran and its miraculous nature. Below are some excerpts illustrating that the Quran has not remained uniform from the time of Prophet Muhammad to 1924, when it underwent another round of standardization. During the Prophet's lifetime, the Quran was not uniform. Excerpt from Exploring the Sciences of the Quran by Dr. Subhi as-Salih. It is narrated about a dispute between Umar ibn Khattab and Hisham ibn Hakim as follows. One day during the lifetime of the Prophet, I heard Hisham ibn Hakim reciting Surah Al-Furqan. I listened closely to his recitation, but he was reading certain phrases that were never recited to me by the Prophet. I nearly attacked him while he was praying, but I waited until he completed his prayer. After he finished, I grabbed his garment and asked him, "Who taught you this surah?" He replied, "The Prophet recited it to me." I said, "You are lying. By Allah, the Prophet did not recite this surah to me in the way you just recited it." I then dragged him to the Prophet and explained, "O Messenger of Allah, I heard this man reciting Surah Al-Furqan differently from how you recited it to me." The Prophet replied, "Let him go, Umar. Hisham, recite." Hisham then recited the surah as I had heard it. The Prophet said, "That is how it was revealed." He added, "The Quran was revealed in 7 dialects. Recite it in the way that is easiest for you." Sahih Bukhari 6-185. This hadith clearly demonstrates that the Prophet dictated different versions of Surah Al-Furqan to Umar and Hisham, showing that the Prophet's recitation was not uniform. After the Prophet's death, the Quran was not uniform. This is evident from the reason Uthman standardized a single version of the Quran. Differences arose between the followers of Ibn Mas'ud, Iraq, and Ubay ibn Ka'b, Syria, as reported by Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman. Muslims often argue that these differences were merely dialectical. However, the differences between the codices of Ibn Mas'ud and Ubay ibn Ka'b were not just about dialects, but also about content. According to al-Suyuti, Ibn Mas'ud rejected the inclusion of surahs 1, 113, and 114, claiming they were prayers and incantations, not part of the Quran. On the other hand, the codices of Ubay ibn Ka'b, Ibn Abbas, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, and Ali ibn Abi Talib included 2 additional surahs, Al-Khal and Al-Haft, which are absent in the Cairo edition of the Quran standardized in 1924. Even after Uthman's standardization, variations persisted. Uthman's standardized mushaf was written in an early form of Arabic script, lacking diacritical marks, vowel symbols, and distinctions between letters with similar shapes. This led to multiple readings depending on how vowels and diacritical marks were added. Consequently, further standardizations were required post-Uthman. For example, the 1924 Cairo edition was yet another attempt to standardize the Quranic text, resolving variations that had persisted over the centuries. It is clear that the Quran, as we have it today, has undergone significant changes, from the Prophet's lifetime through Uthman's standardization and even into modern times.
Look, what he destroyed is a personal writings of individuals.
Wait, but the writings...
Which could be faulty.
No, it doesn't say personal. Wait, it was Ubay ibn Ka'b had his copy, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud had his copy. There were the two master reciters of the Quran according to Muhammad. In fact, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he's actually outraged at the fact that his stuff isn't being accepted, because remember, he thought there was only, I think, 111 surahs. But they rejected what he said. He thought that Al-Fatiha, the first surah of the Quran, was dua. He thought it wasn't meant to be Quran. He was asked and he said, if I had to include it in the Quran, I would include it at the very beginning because it is not the
You
Quran.
talk about Abdullah ibn Abbas,
Yeah.
Mas'ud, like he was a prophet or something.
No, he was a master reciter of Muhammad.
No, yes, but he's still not the prophet.
But he's one of the greatest, well-respected from Muhammad.
There are other. Uthman is greater than him.
Okay, well, Ubay ibn Ka'b. Ubay ibn Ka'b had 116
Another
surahs.
great one.
He had 116 surahs in his codex in Damascus.
Look, the vast majority of the Sahaba all memorized the Quran.
But it depends who you ask.
But most of them
Ubay ibn Ka'b and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud disagreed. It was Uthman who was taking influence from Zayd bin Thabit and his
disagreed on
version.
what exactly?
Exactly how many surahs there were meant to be in the Quran.
It doesn't matter because you could divide this Quran we have today.
Ubay ibn Ka'b didn't have 616 surahs in his Quran.
Okay.
He wrote 2 dua at the back of his Quran. He wrote it in the same book. So,
But it was being introduced in prayers and it was considered by him to be Quran. And you can't have dua in your Quran because Al-Fatah is dua. It's dua.
Yes, but the Al-Fatiha is the speech of Allah and it's a dua, yeah?
Well, no, it's not speech. It's not. It's people talking to Allah. It's supplication to Allah. How is it the speech of Allah? That's like me praying to God, and you're like, that's God's words.
Have you
It's
actually
like,
got a
what?
copy?
No, it's my words. I'm speaking to God. I'm praying to Him.
Have you got a copy of Ubay ibn Ka'b's Quran?
It's the same, but there's
2 extra surahs.
But it's not 2 extra surahs.
It is. He had 116. We actually know what they contained. We actually know that. You know that. Like you can find the names and you find it.
Which Muslims say in their prayers.
You still didn't tell me what's the problem.
The problem here.
I don't see
One
the
that was
problem.
sent
Okay, well, first of all, one problem is that Uthman burnt Quran material that would have included the different ways of recitating, because he only kept it in one kind, which is the Qurayshi dialect. Whereas Muhammad
We have
revealed it
7
in
today,
different.
right?
Well, no, you have no. You don't talk about the Qur'an. The Qur'an is different, and you don't have 7. You have 10.
Yeah. We have the 7. Yes. Qira'at. Yes.
Yeah, you have 10 of them. So where these 3 come from?
No, we have the 7 that the Prophet talked about.
No, you have the 10. Let me show you.
Okay. What is it that Uthman burnt? You're saying?
Bridges translation of the 10 Qur'an of the Quran. This is from Bridges Foundation, which is an Islamic Dawah foundation in Egypt in Cairo.
Sorry, it's the sun.
Yep, they did a translation of the Arabic Quran.
So the sun around
And he, yeah.
10-7. Okay.
Let me show you. Let me show you what it is. I'm
long as
going to go
it's
into.
Qur'an.
So let me show you. If I just go back.
And then there's
The conclusion of this discussion is that the claim that the Quran as it exists today is identical to what was recited by Prophet Muhammad is a claim whose accuracy is questionable. Various evidence from historical and critical sources indicates that the process of compiling and standardizing the Quran involved changes, variations, and even disagreements among the Prophet's companions. This suggests that the codification of the Quranic text required a lengthy process and significant measures to achieve the uniformity recognized today. During the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad, differences in the recitation of the Quran were apparent. Hadiths reveal that the Prophet dictated Quranic verses with variations in recitation to different companions, such as Umar ibn al-Khattab and Hisham ibn Hakim. These variations are often associated with the concept of 7 modes, Ahruf, some which allowed flexibility in Quranic recitation. However, this flexibility also raised questions regarding the accuracy of memorization and the authority of the text. The claim that the Quran has remained identical throughout history contradicts historical evidence. Variations in recitation and differences among manuscripts demonstrate a dynamic process in the Quran's codification. These differences were not merely due to dialects but also included textual content, such as the addition or omission of certain surahs. The assertion that all Qurans worldwide are the same appears to be more of a theological narrative aimed at reinforcing the text's authority rather than an accurate reflection of historical facts. This video is primarily intended for the Muslim community, which often criticizes the Bible, including the Torah and the Gospels, accusing them of being non-original, heavily altered, corrupt, and so forth. It is worth noting that 3 religious groups, Jews, Christians, and Samaritans, have preserved the Torah and continue to hold it in high regard. Thousands of manuscripts of these scriptures have been meticulously preserved to this day.